move on to...
Why would I betray you?
We all have our secrets. We just didn't get to yours yet.
The world is arming faster than we can respond.
Where's 007?
I need a favor, brother. You're the only one I trust for this.
The world's moved on, Commander Bond.
You were 00?
2 years. So stay in your lane. You get in my way, I will put a bullet in your knee. The one that works.
I thought you two would get along.
Name?
Bond.
James Bond.
So you're not dead?
Hello, Q. I've missed you.
It's the most valuable asset this country has. If you feel yourself losing control,
I'm not going to lose control.
James, you gave up everything for her. When her secret finds its way out, it'll be the death of you.
What is it?
You don't know what this is?
James Bond. License to Kill. History of violence. I could be speaking to my own reflection. Only your skills die with your body. Mine will survive long after I'm gone.
History isn't kind to men who play God.
The iconic James Bond movie. No one can attest that going to see a James Bond movie, you're going to see definitely three things. Three things at all times when you see a James Bond movie. You're going to see a fancy car, you're going to see guns, and you're going to see some kind of watch. That's definitely going to be in every single James Bond movie that I've seen and probably will for the next coming James Bond movies. For me, it's one of those things that I grew up with, and seeing it is just part of the season. You know, it's been 5 years. It's time for a James Bond movie. And this one looks like, to me, that's not going to disappoint. It picks up with the story like it should with any movie that's doing a sequel or a continuation. It ties in some of what's come from the past few movies into this new problem. I love how they're doing with Daniel Craig. You know, he's at that range of his age that they're actually paralleling it to in his career as well. They're now actually thinking about integrating new 00 agents that are replacing him or working with him, instead of it being always like, oh, he's going to be there and he's the only 007. Like in a few other ones where it's like, oh yeah, 002 got killed. And they're like, oh, whatever, we got 007. This one, they're showing a lot more of a team cohesion and how it interacts with everyone else. The way that a lot of the movies nowadays are trying to get that realism in there. This is something that is definitely becoming more present in the James Bond movies that I love and like to see. What is your take on it, Tara? What do you think about this next James Bond movie?
With any James Bond movie, as soon as you hear that music and you know it's James Bond, you can't help but to get hyped and pumped up because, like you said, you know there's action coming. You know there is going to be beautiful women. You know there's going to be fancy cars. You know there is going to be all of this intrigue and double cross and crazy villains. And speaking of villains, Rami Malek as a villain. Oh my God. Like that man is insane. His acting is crazy. Like he can play such a weirdo so well.
Somehow, some way, yes.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I've seen another person play a freaky person like better, like somebody like Crispin Glover, that's done, all these other things. So the choice of casting Rami Malek as a bad guy, especially up against Bond, I think that's going to be just phenomenal. And like you said, the continuation, they're acknowledging that James is getting older. They're acknowledging that, there needs to be more of a cohesion, and cars with guns. So yay. I like this one.
Great. Brian, give us your input on this one.
Well, I'm a Bond fan. I'm a huge Bond guy, and I've really enjoyed the Daniel Craig rendition of him. I appreciate the fact that they have explored the Blofeld villain character yet again. And, I agree with Tara. Rami Malek as a villain looks really enticing. Everything he's done, he's done very well. I mean, everything from iRobot, to I can't even. I'm having a brain fart. But long story short, Daniel Craig, yes, they are the continuation of his aging, his outing of being a 007. In my opinion, I think that it's going to be a good send off, because from what I hear, this might be Daniel Craig's last rendition of James Bond. And the director, Cary Fukunaga, he has done some pretty solid things in the past. Beast of No Nation is a very solid flick. I trust his eye, as we saw in the trailer. Very action-packed, continuation of characters. I can go on and on just because it's a Bond trailer. Every first Bond trailer is just phenomenal. And this one just continues, it's just explosiveness. So long story short, I'm super pumped for this, super amped for it. And I really hope that after Daniel Craig is done, the next person, male or female, kicks ass just as much.
I completely agree with you and look forward to whatever they do with the James Bond franchise. I'm going to lead it off on the grading on this one just to move it along. I'm giving this a 5. Daniel Craig has done no wrong in my book with the James Bond character. They've done great rewriting everything coming from the go. I'm going to love this, and it's going to be the next one that is on the shelf of the DVDs that I collect of the James Bond series. Rotten Tomatoes, I'm going to be skeptical on this one, and I'm going to say it's going to be a 92% on the Rotten Tomatoes, only because there's those James Bond haters out there. And yeah, I'm seeing this one opening night. There's no doubt about it. Opening night for me to see a James Bond movie. Tara, you go next.
Okay, so I'm definitely with you. 4.5, 5. Like I said before, you cannot not be excited about James Bond. Even when they're bad, they're great. With that being said, Rotten Tomatoes, again, people are nitpicky on everything. So I'm going to give it an 88 on the Rotten Tomatoes. And then as far as going to see it, I would not see it opening night, but I would definitely see it while it's still in the theater, because you have to hear those explosions with surround sound. Like you have to.
Copy that. Brian, give us your take.
I'll make this short and sweet because it's going to be super easy. Number one, yes, I personally think it's going to be a 5, because if this is Daniel Craig's last iteration of being James Bond, he's going to go out with a bang. Prediction on Rotten Tomatoes, I actually think it's going to be a little bit lower, because I think critics are going to be a bit more critical on this one. Previous iterations of Bond have been done, I believe, by Sam Mendes. And this one, the director is now changed. And so I think they're going to be really critical on the storyline, as well as, as the acting as well. Even though it's a star-studded cast, you can't go wrong. When I'm going to watch it, the first showing nearest to me as soon as theaters open. As soon as it drops, opening night, done. But to finish all off, I will say one last thing. Probably going to go in the low 80s, probably about 80 to 82%, just because they're going to be heavily critical on the storyline and the action.